At night, we zoom into the skyline of downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. Titles appear over the scenes showing the characters. Starring Speakonia Dogtail number 1 as Clint Boone. Speakonia Dogtail number 8 as Mr. T. Speakonia Dogtail number 4 as Miles Neff. Speakonia Dogtail number 7 as Will Stacks. Speakonia Dogtail number 1 as Ben Sumner. Also starring Speakonia Dogtail number 2 as TV radio news reporter. Speakonia Dogtail number 3 as Christopher Flowers. And Speakonia Dogtail number 6 as public address announcer. Casting by Leslie Harper. Original score by David Hitchner. Music supervision by Todd McNeil. Visual effects supervision by J.J. Hapley. Production supervision by Rick Merriman. Co-producer Corey Ellis. Executive producers Clint Boone. Clay Loney. Produced by Micah Robertson and Tim McNeil. Written and directed by Dylan Benham. More titles appear on a blue background. NBC Productions Inc. presents the 3:30 Bloopers Season 2, Episode 1. We're back. Clint Boone in the control room.
New season of 3:30 Bloopers, which is now getting a brand new, state-of-the-art look. And Mr. Tim is so
He is with
looking
Mr.
forward to this
Tim.
brand new season, aren't you?
Yes, I am Mr. Boone. I am so looking forward to another exciting round of 3:30 bloopers. Let's see what would happen here this season. Shall we?
A cartoon character Twinkle Toes appears on a white screen above the pencil drawing of a double arrow.
How did that happen?
Shanley is gonna think Twinkle Toes is appearing on a local television program.
No, Twinkle Toes is not appearing on the 3:30.
But if you think Twinkle Toes is not appearing on the 3:30, maybe she would go out of bounds.
Oh, me.
Out of bounds, Mr. Tim. Do you think she would go out of bounds after not appearing on the 3:30? My final answer is no, because you would try to ruin her plans. Mr. Tim, do not try to make a mockery of a 2013 television commercial.
Well, I don't care about Twinkle Toes anyway. So what next? A television repossession?
Season ticket.
Mr. Tim, season ticket. Why do you need a season ticket on the 3:30 when it is a local television program on Channel 8?
Season ticket is for NFL football, NBA basketball, and of course, NHL hockey. This is sorta like Dish Network season ticket.
Dish Network season ticket. Mr. Tim, you do not understand. Why would you talk about Dish Network season ticket when we don't have Dish Network here at the VOK Tower? Everyone here, including Miles Neff's, gonna think you're working for Dish Network and not with Oklahoma's News Channel 8. One more screw up, and I will call on the public address announcer. Do you understand me?
Yes, Mr. Boone, I understand, because I shouldn't have been planning on the 3:30 for so long that Miles Neff is gonna think I'm working for Dish Network, but I plan to move to Oklahoma's News Channel 8.
Warning, the motion picture contained in this video cassette is protected under the copyright laws of the United States and other countries. This cassette is sold for home use only, and all other rights are expressly reserved by the copyright owner of such motion picture. Mr. Tim, the show is on DVD, not on VHS. And what happened to the white background and the black double arrow?
And wait until Miles Neff sees all of this.
Miles Neff, my right, if he's coming by here to take a look at this control room. See Disc 2003 and rate 2004. Miles Neff.
Later at Miles Neff's office.
Mr. Boone, last year, you had the screen operator Mr. Tim show a picture of Pringles and Mr. Kris Kringle as Santa Claus, and I mean it was plastered on every news source there is. One American News Network, ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, HLN and C-SPAN. And today, things have changed. When you guys showed season ticket in the control room, which cost $5,700 for all the material there is. And also, you guys copied the universal warning screen from C-Disc 2003 and Rate 2004, in which I was featured in, as the narrator for Descriptive video service. Mr. Boone, I need to send faxes of every blooper there is from today to Stacks Building Up in New York City, so that way Mr. Will Stacks can see what you guys have done in today's 3:30 bloopers. Have you been using the 50/50 today? Because if you have, I quit on you.
No, Mr. Neff, we haven't put the 50/50 icon on our screen over at our room today, so no, we haven't used 50/50 today so far.
Oh, I see. Maybe you would try to consider going to Channel 8 later today, where Mark Bradshaw is, so that way he could give you the 330 Bloopers CD, and bring it back here and let me show you what you did last year. Attention all the OK Tower employees, we need members A107 and A108 to go to Channel 8 at this time. Thank you. So, the announcer told me that I'm member A107, so I guess I'm gonna get out of here and head towards Channel 8. I'm gonna check in with Mark Bradshaw and see about this CD you was talking about.
Channel 8. Boone sits facing towards Bradshaw at his nearby desk.
Season ticket, and then you try to show a warning screen off of an old videotape from a couple decades ago.
Yes, but before that, we made a blooper featuring Pringles and Kris Kringle.
Pringles and Kris Kringle, you was trying to understand something about Christmas. No, we are not doing all that again. Pringles and Kris Kringle should've been used today, but you did it back last month. Pringles and Kris Kringle were talking about season ticket and FBI warning. That's just not like it. Mr. Boone, you was here at Channel 8. Now you have moved on to the BOK Tower to work with 330 Bloopers with your partner Tim.
Actually, his name's Mr. Tim, and he's a screen operator in the control room at the VOK Tower in downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And so, with that, would you contact
Miles Neff
And
joins
so,
them.
Now Miles Neff is finally here. What do you need from Channel 8 today?
Hello, Mr. Mark Bradshaw. Nice seeing you again. I just needed a CD with last year's 330 bloopers because I'm wanting to show Mr. Boone and Mr. Tim all the bloopers they've done last year there. So let's give it a try here.
Later in the control room, Boone, Neff, and Tim are at a console.
And I cannot believe that you did everything your way, so I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to call on the public address announcer, and the OAN-TV reporter would have to get on the line immediately. But what if the reporter sees me on security camera and didn't even know things might go my way? Just shut up! Just shut up! I don't want the reporter to hear how you behave in here! Clint Boone, Mr. Tim, and Miles Neff in the control room, the OK Tower. What do you need? We need the reporter because we are going to do this CD right here, so OAN-TV reporter coming online in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, Clint Boone, Mr. Tim, and Miles Neff in the control room at the VOK Tower in Tulsa. How are you three doing today?
We're doing great. We're just ready to start our new CD here.
Alright, here is the first blooper on this CD. The 430. The 330 does not play at 430. And Mr. Tim has added Paradise City in final answer. And what's with a 1965 NAV sale of good practice? Mr. Tim, you have to stop doing things from the past and start living the future. Okay, now the 430 is all about T-Bone. Why is that saying T-Bone at the bottom corner of the screen? Now it reads, the phone a friend 30. Mr. Tim, get that feedback on there, you lousy rat. Get that feedback on there, you little lousy rat, before I come destroy all your viruses. Now it's the 530. 2 hours too late. The 6:30, now it's 3 hours too late. Mr. Tim, you better let me out of this right now. Annie. What, Annie? You guys do not understand. The 11:30, now it's way too late for Channel 8, and what's with Jim, I guess, doing at the bottom corner of the screen. Mr. Tim, I want 3:30, not 11:30, and get rid of Jim, I guess, immediately. Warner Brothers Pictures, a Time Warner company. Just now getting into your second week, so no WB or Time Warner company were harmed during the making of the 330. And what if WB is a Sony company? WB is not a Sony company, and WB does not own the 330 anyway. It's a Sony. What if Sony reads it's a Sony? No, the 330 is not a Sony. Now Sony has moved back into place. Channel 8, the 330, not Warner Brothers Pictures, Sony.
Miles Neff's office.
Mr. Boone, we are not doing this again. Last year, you and Mr. Tim, you guys have had 3 weeks of coming up with a correct logo for the 330. But last month, I have seen your Kringles versus Kris Kringle blooper, and that was plastered all over every news source there is. And you showed this to Will Stacks up in New York City, and I don't appreciate it. The 3:30 starting next week, and if you don't do it next week, I quit on you. Kringles and
The
Kris
control
Kringle,
room
what is
with
wrong with
Boolean
you?
Ting.
Mr. Tim, this is the 5th week we've been doing this. Next week, if we don't do the 3:30, Miles Neff would move out of his office and let Stacks take over his office.
Microsoft
Mr.
audio
Tim,
description
don't do
was
this
written
again.
and
We
read
are
by
all here till
Microsoft
now. I
Sven. The
cannot
3:30
believe that
bloopers
you
was
are.
based on Oklahoma's News Channel 8, the story of Clint Boom courtesy of Al Britain Communications and Walt Disney
You are
Pictures.
like the
Best
Nugans.
starring
Mr.
Microsoft
Tim,
Mike
I'm gonna
as
put
Mark
control 4
Bradshaw,
weeks of
cameo
3:30
appearance
bloopers
by
into 8
Charles Ely.
millimeter film.
Distributed
Until next
by
week, keep Miles
NBC
Neff.
Productions
Keep
Inc.
Miles Neff. Keep Miles Neff. Keep Miles Neff. Keep Miles Neff. Sphincter.